while we are determining the income, we have to understand that the two basic facts or two basic pillars are the aggregate demand and the aggregate supply. Now, when we talk of the aggregate demand, this means the total demand of the goods and services in the economy is called as the aggregate demand. That is, whatever is required by all the individuals in the economy is called as aggregate demand. When we talk of aggregate demand, there are, say, some components which are very important to be included. And the first of all is the household consumption. Household consumption means whatever every house consumes is termed as the household consumption demand. And in this, we have to understand that there is something called as the propensity to consume. That is to say, my income allows me to consume at a particular level. If the income is more, I'll be able to consume more. If my income is less, then it's going to be less. So that is the propensity to consume. But the first fact I said, or the first on which we have to rest our aggregate demand, is the household consumption. That is all that goods and services which are required, consumed by the households. The second is the private investment. Private investment means all the private firms, industries, factories, manufacturing units which have a demand of, like the machinery, the buildings, the computers, that comes under the private investment demand. The third of its kind is the government demand. Whatever goods and services are required, are demanded by the government, is the government demand. It could be for building roads, bridges and so on. But all this comes under the aggregate demand. And then is the net export. Net export means export minus import. That is to say, how much we have exported, how much is the requirement of other countries towards our goods minus what we have taken from other countries is the net export of a country. So, it is not that I have exported, say, 1000 tons of something, but I have also imported, say, 300 tons. So, my net export will be 7000 tons. So, here when I talk of the aggregate demand of an economy, I talk about the household consumption, its capacity, its how much can it consume, then the private investment demand and the government demand, and lastly the net export. This all factors will together make up what we call as the aggregate demand of an economy.